Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about basic strokes to paint basic flowers and leaves using watercolor. So if you are a beginner and if you are thinking how I can start with watercolor, flowers and leaves, I think this video is for you. So what you need for today's painting? So you need one sheet. I'm using this 300 GSM watercolor sheet. You can use lesser than that or you can use simple sheet to start with. You need one brush. I'm using this size 12 round brush. This is quite big and I'm going to use this same brush to paint a smaller element and to paint bigger element both. I'm using this pencil to draw something if I need, and you also need some basic watercolor and 2 glass of water to clean your brush. So let's start with the first stroke. I'm going to show you some simple tricks and technique to paint watercolor leaves and flowers. This is going to be super simple. You just need little practice around these strokes. So let's start. You can use any color to start with. I'm using this purple color for the first stroke. So I have filled my brush completely with this particular color, and as you can see we have one tip. So we need this tip of brush to paint our first flower or leaves. So without applying any pressure into your brush and using only tip of the brush, you need to paint these fine lines. So I'm not applying any pressure into my brush. I'm only using tip of my brush. You can hold your brush straight as well to paint this, or you can hold your brush like this as well. Totally fine, whatever is comfortable for you. And you need to paint these fine lines. So practice this a lot first, and then you can paint these kind of things easily once you get familiar with these kind of strokes. So using this one stroke we can paint different flowers and leaves, but let me show you one for now. So I'm going to paint 2 flowers here, and with the same fine lines I'm going to create flower petals now, like this only, without applying any pressure. I'm using only tip of my brush and creating this flower petals. You can keep few smaller, few longer. These variation you can do in your flower. I'm creating very basic. I'm not doing anything fancy in here, just to show you how you can paint this flower with simple brush stroke. You can keep the shade lighter and darker. Likewise you can paint one more, and then with the help of green color let's paint stems and leaves. So I'm repeating the same thing again for stems and leaves as well. I'm using only tip of my brush to paint stems and to paint leaves. I'm keeping leaves simple, just few branches and sub branches of stems like structure to paint flower leaves. And let's create the center part of the flower, that is the ovary of the flower. You can use any color. I'm using black color for now. And we are done. As you can see, with one simple stroke we have painted this flower. Now let's move to the second stroke. So this time you need to apply a little pressure into your brush, and you need to use 1/3 part of your brush. So I'm using little bit of my brush, and I'm also applying little pressure into my brush to create little thicker line as compared to the previous one. So as you can see, I'm applying little pressure into my brush to get little thicker line as compared to the first one. Now you can move your brush towards downside, towards upside to create leaf kind of structure, and through this stroke you can paint small petals. This is our second stroke. Now let's paint small leaves. So for the leaves, what we need to do is just apply a little pressure and then release slowly to get the pointed end. Apply a little pressure, release slowly. Move your brush towards different direction to get different shape of leaves, petal or leaves, whatever. And likewise you can paint the size of leaves or petals easily. So you just need to use 1/3 of your brush, and also need to apply a little pressure into your brush and move your brush as per your need. Now let's paint one more flower with this particular stroke. Again, I'm going to create 2 flowers here. This time I'm creating little bigger petal as compared to the first flower, or I should say little wider petal. You will get different shape, but that's not an issue. Keep going. Create one more flower, and then you can also keep variation in the flower shape. Like you can keep flower shape like this as well if you like to, and then create the center part of the flower. Again, we are only learning how we can paint flowers and leaves with basic strokes. I'm not doing anything fancy here, so keep practicing these strokes. And for the leaves, I'm repeating the same thing, same stroke. The only difference is I'm creating leaves in a group. And that's it. We are done with the second flower as well with the help of second stroke. Now it's time for third one. So for the third one, I'm applying more pressure as compared to the second one to get more thicker line. So as you can see, this is quite thick as compared to the second one, and I'm using half of my brush. Now you can start with the pointed end and end also with the pointed shape to create petal kind of structure. So keep practicing these kind of strokes. Then you can move your brush towards upward direction to create leaves like this. Just leave your brush or release your brush slowly to get a pointed end. Same with the downward direction. And this is the third stroke to get bigger petals or bigger leaves. So this time we are applying more pressure and we are using half of our brush. So once you will get to know like how much pressure you need to create bigger petals or leaves, so you can paint these kind of things easily. You just need to understand how much pressure you need and in which direction you should apply these pressure. You can also use tissue paper to wipe out some color. Let's paint few more petals in between. And then center part of the flower with the help of red color. And then I'm going to paint stems and leaves. For the leaves I'm again going to use same shape as I have used for the flowers. So this is my third stroke. Apply more pressure to get little thicker a line, and the fourth one is apply all the pressure to get the thickest line, something like this, and then you can create bigger leaves or bigger petals with these strokes. So what we need to do here is we need to add 2 strokes to create single leaf or single petal. So move your brush towards upward direction and come back to the center. Move your brush towards the upward direction and come back to the center. Release slowly to get the pointed end. Repeat this process and practice this a lot. Same thing you can repeat for downward direction as well. Keep negative space in between. Release slowly. Let's paint few leaf here towards that side. This side, keep the negative space in between. And it's quite simple, you just need little practice. So let's paint one flower as well with this particular stroke. You can keep smaller petal as well. You can keep the combination of bigger petals and smaller petals together. These variation you can do in your flowers, but the basic thing is how you can create your petals. So you can create your petals like this. Very simple to paint. I'm using black color for the ovary, little dots around it, and then stems and leaves. For the leaves also I'm going to repeat the same thing as I did for the other flowers as well. just to show you. You can do this same kind of thing for petals and for leaves as well. And it's done. So likewise you can paint different other elements with these strokes, with these techniques. Likewise, let's paint a few more leaves now with the help of whatever we have learned so far. So let's see, for example, with the help of third stroke we can paint leaf like this as well, medium size leaves. If you combine this all together in a string, you can paint leaf like this. You can also paint tropical leaves with fine lines. Just combine things together. This is from second stroke, and something like this you can paint. So likewise you can paint number of things. So if you are a beginner, I think this would definitely help you to learn something new. And please do let me know how you feel about this particular video, if this is helpful for you or not. Do let me know if you guys have any feedback for me. And thank you so much for all your love and support, and thank you so much for watching my videos, and see you guys in the next video.